Reading from the Chaitanya Bhagavat, text 130. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktarinda. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Taksur Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Niju Guru Sri Keshava Bharatira Stane Bhakti Jnana Dui Jigasila Ekadina. One day the Lord asked his spiritual master, Keshava Bharti, about Bhakti and Gyan. The Lord inquired, which is greater, Gyan or Bhakti? O Gosai, please consider and tell me exclusively. Greetings from Weston, Massachusetts. See, Don Cayley must be driving to work. I'm staying at his house. It is fantastic residence. I don't know if you could see out there. This is right outside his house. Quite comfortable, very comfortable. So, we see Lord Chaitanya in exchanging with different people, and now he's exchanging with his guru. This is his sannyas guru. When I was to take sannyas over 40 years ago, it seems pretty insane, but I'm still here. At that time in ISKCON, they had what's called the zonal acharya system. You were expected to take initiation from the guru who was in your area. But when I was to take sannyas, the guru who was in my area wasn't renounced at all. And later he left sannyas. Really wasn't renounced at all. Sincerely tried to spread Krishna consciousness, but Prabhupada was so empowering. And maybe I'm thinking back that even though it was beyond their adhikari or qualification, and they wouldn't be able to last, somehow or other, maybe the status and the ability to lead preaching movement kind of kept them involved in a level of kept them involved in a level of, one second, kept them involved in a level of absorption in service that they wouldn't have been able to achieve otherwise. But I had my doubts, and therefore I was trying to figure out what to do. And I had a very nice relationship with Srila Narayan Maharaj, who was living in Mathura, very, very simply. And I asked him, that I've been actually asked. I was actually asked to take sannyas. I didn't even ask for it. But somehow they wanted me to take sannyas. And But I had my doubts about the person who was the local guru in terms of that regard. And anyway, I went to Srila Narayana Maharaj, and I told him the situation, but I said sannyasa is just a formality. And he said there's no formalities in Vaishnava relationships. Every relationship is real according to the basis of the relationship that you have with a person. So I got the intelligence to take from His Holiness Srila Satsvarup Maharaj, who is quite a renounced, simple person. So here, it seems that Lord Chaitanya, although he took sannyas for the purpose of preaching, and at that time there wasn't even Vaishnav sannyasis in Bengal, so he took it from someone who was even an impersonalist, but still there seemed to be a real relationship, and he's getting his doubts clear. And that's one of the main functions of knowledge, and that's one main function of a spiritual master, is to clear the doubts of the disciple. Because whatever we do, we want to move forward strongly. And to move forward strongly, we have to have faith. So knowledge gives faith. This is right, I will do this. So if you have a doubt whether something is true or not, then you'll tend to be stagnated. That's why faith is so important. When you have strong faith, then you make the sacrifices necessary. You have strong faith in devotional service, then you make the sacrifices necessary to perfect your devotional service. So here, and this is one of the things that really has to be understood, that what is bhakti? What is spiritual life? We know in the Gita, Arjuna was confused what to do. He didn't know how to move. And what was his misconception? He didn't understand what bhakti is. He thought that spiritual life is gyan, and therefore, how do I solve my problem? I leave the world. I leave my duty. I leave the world. And Krishna speaks the Bhagavad Gita to explain what bhakti is, so that he'll actually serve Krishna, which was staying in the world, which was Krishna's desire, and doing his duty. In the Bhagavatam, in the second chapter of the first canto, where they have that verse, Vedanta tat tattva vidas tattva yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavan iti shabdate, that it describes what is tattva, what is reality. And reality is God, which is fully understood as the personality of God, partially understood as Paramatma, and hardly understood as Brahman. And the example is given as a mountain in the distance. It looks like a homogeneous mass. So you have partial realization. If you come closer, you may see that there's trees and foliages and different things. And then when you go on the mountain, you'll see villages and people. So it's all one truth, but the fullest understanding of what that truth is, when you have the clearest and most intimate vision, it's a person. So then the question comes in the Bhagavatam, okay, so this is the truth, and how you realize it. And this is verse I've quoted many times, Tad Shraddhayana Munayo Kana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyant Chatmani Atmani Bhakta Shruta Grihitaya. The seriously inquisitive sage well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes the truth by fearfully hearing Bhakta Shruta, the texts, the Vedic texts that deal with bhakti. But this seriously inquisitive sage, Tatshadhyana Munayo, Muni comes from Mauna. It comes from silence. The person is thinking. That's one of the qualities. And the symptom of thinking is trying to understand things more deeply. And the system of trying to understand things more deeply is raising your doubts. And Jiva Goswami says, if you don't raise your doubts, you will misunderstand bhakti as either Gyan, like Arjuna did. He thought it was renunciation, or karma, just fruit of work. So this is a proper inquiry of Lord Chaitanya from his guru. Shata Shene Bharati Vichara Korimane Shite Lagila Gora Shunda Snani. Lord Chaitanya Vichara Kore Mani, in his mind, Vichara. He considered the question very, very deeply. You have to consider a question very, very deeply for two reasons. One, to understand it, how to understand it, or to understand it. And one, to how to explain it. So he's very, very thoughtful. What is the answer? What is the pramana or evidence that is true? And how can I best explain it? Bharati Balena, Mani Vichali Tattva, Shabe Hoite, Deki Bhara, Bhaktira Mahatva. Keshava Bharti said, after considering the topic, I have concluded that the glories of bhakti are superior to all. So that's there throughout the Bhagavatam, and the Savai Pumso, Paro Dharmo. Savai Pumso, Paro Dharmo, the top dharma, the top activity. Yato Bhaktir Adoksaji. It's bhakti, it's devotion. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena taratmanam shradhabam bhajateyo mam sameyuktam. Of all yogis, one who worships me with faith and devotion is the highest of all. So Keshava Bharti confirms. Prabhu Bali, Gyano Hoite Bhakti Bhara Kene. Gyana Bharet Koriye Shekohi Nyasi Gane. The Lord asks, why is bhakti greater than Gyan? The sannyasi say that Gyan is greater. Discussed this many times, that the path of renunciation, the path of Jnana, the path of knowledge goes by Jnana goes by renunciation. So and those on that path, they think that's their natural proclivity. They think that this is the best. Just like in Satya Yuga, people weren't into chanting. That wasn't the Yuga Dharma. It was meditation. It wasn't chanting. And one of the reasons why it was meditation is that these people were so qualified that they couldn't imagine that something as simple as patram pushpam palo to yom yom ebak, as offering a flower, fruit, or water, that they couldn't imagine that something so simple would be spiritual, and therefore their meditations were thousands of years. They lived longer, and it's just such a natural psychology that sometimes you think the thing that's best is the thing that's most challenging. But of course, bhakti is challenging, but not on the material platform. It's challenging on the platform of consciousness. It's on desire, on heart, on freedom from ego. Just like I described, I was talking about humility in one class. I forgot what it is, and how humility is so powerful because you have to resist the false ego and all these impulses. So the Lord asks, well, why are you saying this? And he says, sannyasis say that Gyan is greater, and Keshav Bharti said they have not understood the conclusion accepted by the Mahajans. And in the purport here, a famous verse is quoted, Tarko Patishta. Tarko is logic. They're not conclusive. It's not the path. 136, the Vedic literature teaches one to accept the path of the Mahajans. Fools give up that path to accept another. So he's saying, you're asking, he's saying, why is the sannyasis accepting Gyan? And he says it's a foolish proposition, because how did they come to their conclusion? You come to the conclusion by the ultimate pramana, which is called agama, or verbal testimony from evolved souls who understand and live the Shastra. So he says the Vedic literatures teach us to accept the path of the Mahajans. Fools give up that path to accept another. Deductive path, the deductive reason, inductive reasoning, you can never come to a proper conclusion of that which is inconceivable. You can't come by logic to wrap your mind around God, because God is beyond spatial tempo dimensions, time-space dimensions. So the easy way to understand something is to find someone who is an authority. And that's what he's saying. How these people come to the conclusions that Gyan is the greatest. They're not following the great souls who know the scriptures. Now, famous verse about the Mahajans. Well, no, it's not. It's a paraphrase of it, but anyway. Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Palada, Shuka, Vyas, Sanakadi, Kadi, Yudhishthir, Vikas. Priyavrata, Prithu, Dhruva, Akrura, Uddhava, Mahajan, what is it? Mahajana Yena Sapanta. The path is the path of the Mahajans. Yeah, trying to understand things like Gyan is, I don't know what the analogy is, but it's treading water and eating at the same time. You can't do it. So this is from the Mahajans. They always beg for devotional service at lotus feet. If Gyan was greater, why would they beg for bhakti? Why would these Mahajans reject liberation and always beg for bhakti without careful consideration? So again, the goal is liberation, to get out of the restrictive confines of this material world. And when we go through anxieties and difficulties, we have to be very, very careful that we don't develop a covering of Gyan, because the tendency is just to want to transcend this world. I was saying at Leela and Jamuna's wedding, Rasik Mohan spoke. If anybody's in New Jersey at Gopas, he's going to come and give a class with me on the 26th. But he said a very interesting thing. He said devotees are not interested in removing the obstacles in their life. They're interested in how to deal with them. And why they're not interested in removing the obstacles of their life? Because the obstacles of one's life have a purpose. They come to you for you. So you don't want them removed. You may want to know at best how to transcend them or how to learn from them. Vipata shantita shashvat tatta tacha. Let these calamities happen again and again. So Kunti wasn't trying to get rid of them. She's trying to use them. So it comes to us, has a gift of realization in it, a fruit of realization in it. And this is such a key point. If you can learn to accept your destiny, doesn't mean you shouldn't try to change the future by responding into it in a particular way. But we have to learn from our destiny. That's the idea. So it's kind of like a gift. It's a gift to give us higher realization and bring us to a higher level of perception and contentment. So anyway, he's saying, when you look at the great spiritual authorities, they accept this bhakti is supreme. And then the statements are supported by Puranas. So Sabara Vichuna e Purana Pramana. They have Pramana. They're supported by the Puranas, which are the Puranas are the Pramana. They're the method of knowing. And then he asks a very, very interesting question. Because the question is, why bhakti? And he's saying, well, the first thing is in our particular line, what's the first thing? Prabhupada said, that's game change. That's it. Prabhupada said. So he's saying the statements are supported by the Puranas. And what benediction did Brahma ask for? So this is Lord Brahma's prayers. What benediction did he ask for after he surrendered to Krishna? So this is the verse. Tat astu me nata se buri bhago bhave tra vanyatra tuva taras tirashtam Yenaham eko pi bhava jananam bhutva nisheve tabapara palavam. My dear Lord, I pray to you to be so fortunate that in this life as Lord Brahma, or in another life, whatever I take my birth, I may be counted as your devotees. I pray that whenever I may be, even among the animal species, I can engage in devotional service to your lotus feet. So what is he saying? He's saying, I don't care. I don't care to get out of this situation in this world. I don't care about changing my situation. My focus, of course, we may do things, but that's not my absorption. My absorption is changing my consciousness. That's what a real devotee is focused on, changing their consciousness. They may do things to change their world, to help facilitate the change of their consciousness, but it's never this absorption. It's like the Stoics: slander, praise, happiness, distress, sickness, and health. It's all coming from God, so what do I care? My dear Lord, I therefore pray to be so fortunate that in this life as Lord Brahma, or in another life, whenever I take birth, I may be counted as one of your devotees. I pray that wherever I may be seen even among the animal species, I can engage in devotional service to your lotus feet. So this is the devotional mood. All we care of is Narayana Parasarve Nakutas Chandya Vibhyati Swaga Pavaga Narakeshu Apitul Yet the Darshana. I don't care. Narayana Parasarve. If I'm Narayana Parayana, if I have that faith in Narayana Prasarve Nukuchas Chinyam Swaga Pavaga. I don't care the heavenly planets or this earth planet. I don't care even going to hell. One who is Narayana Parayana, one who is fixed in devotional service, he's just not dependent on the external circumstances. Najanam, Nadanam, Nasundarim, Kavitam, Va, Jagadisha, Kamaye, Mama Janmani, Janma Ishwari, Bhavatad, Bhakti, or Hoitaki. I don't care. I don't care wealth. Nadanam, Najanam, followers, Sundar, beautiful women. Nadanam, Najam, Sakavitam, Va, education, learning. These are secondary. Doesn't mean they're not important, but they're important in relationship to devotional service. That's the goal. Otherwise, everything else becomes Shrama, Eva, Hi, Kevalam. Certainly, only, it becomes useless if it doesn't lead to this. So, oh my Lord, in this birth is Brahma, or in whatever other birth I might take, let me engage in yours as be your servant and always be engaged in your service. That would be the greatest tragedy, that we don't use this life in a deep way to create the nature and samskars, that becomes our desire. And therefore, Krishna facilitates that. In the Vishnu Puranas 120:18 is stated, Nata yoni sahasreshu yeshu vrajamyaham teshu tve chuta bhaktir achutasu sada tvai. O Lord Achyuta, wherever I may be born among thousands of species of life, may always have unflinching devotional service for you. Mama Janmani, Janmat Ishvari, birth after birth means I don't care for liberation. I don't care. A devotee doesn't care. He only wants service. O Lord Rishikesh, in whatever species of life, okay, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-66, Nanda Maharaj and other Kaurava's boys speak as follows. Karmabhir Brahmya Mahanam Yatra. Wherever we are made to wander about this world by the Supreme Lord's will, in accordance with the reactions of fruit of work, may our good work and charities always grant us love for Lord Krishna. Text 148. Therefore, the path of devotional service followed by the Mahajans is best in every respect. This is confirmed in all the scriptures. And then it's quoted from Mahabharata, famous verse, Tarko Patishta Shrutaya Vibhina. Try arguments are inconclusive. A great personality whose opinion doesn't differ from others is considered a great sage. Simply by studying the Vedas, which are variegated, one cannot come to the right path by which religious principles are understood. The solid truth of religious principles is hidden in the heart of an unadulterated, self-realized soul. Consequently, as the Shastras confirm, one should accept whatever progress path the Mahajans advocate. So what do we know is best? We follow the path, Sato Brite. We follow the path of the devotees. That's how we understand what's best. Bhakti Bharatume Prabhu Bharatisha Mukhe Hari Bali Rinjite Lagila Prema Shuke. Hearing from the mouth of Keshava Bharti that Bhakti is greater, the Lord shouted the name of Hari in ecstatic love. The Lord declared, I will now stay for some time in this world. I'm telling you the truth. If you had been told me that Gyan was greater, I would have accepted the ocean today. In satisfaction, the Lord caught hold of the feet of his guru, and his guru affectionately offered obeisances to the Lord. The Lord then said, for anyone who does not discuss devotional service as the Supreme Lord, giving up the Shika and Brahmin thread and engaging in austerity are all useless. So that's considered the Paramahamsa stage, where you shave your Shika, but the Lord's expressing his opinion. The Lord did not discuss anything besides devotional service, because Lord Chaitanya was the incarnation of the mellows of devotional service. Forgetting whether it was day or night, the devotees constantly engaged in loud chanting and dancing. One day when Advaita Prabhu was intoxicated with ecstasy, he spoke to all the devotees. Okay, that'll be the next class. Jamunajai, any points for today?
Wonderful class. So many, I'm in the middle of the city, so forgive the noise, but so many wonderful points. But that last line by Lord Chaitanya, if you had told me that it was Gyan, I would have accepted the ocean today. That really just struck me. That's really the line that sort of sums up the mood. Like, it's not Gyan, it's Bhakti. And I also love the point of that the Vaishnava doesn't try to get rid of the troubles. They try to, or have the obstacles removed, you said, but to try to find a way to learn from them. And those are really beautiful points. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, yes. I have the same things that Jamuna did, but as far as that line about if you had told me it was Gan, I would have accepted the ocean. Is that what he said?
Say that again. Say that again.
Yeah, I didn't understand that line. If you had told me it was Gan, Lord Chaitanya said I would have accepted the ocean. What did he say?
Boy, Gail, the two words that I didn't understand.
But Jamuna, that was she was appreciating it so much. I wanted to appreciate it too, but I didn't understand it.
Well, I couldn't. Her reception wasn't very good, so I really couldn't hear her. If you would have told me that Gan was greater, I would have entered the ocean today.
Oh, entered.
In other words, what he's saying is, I've stayed in the world to establish devotional service. And if Keshav Bharti would have minimized devotional service, then Lord Chaitanya would have just gave up his pastimes.
Okay, great. Maharaj, actually, my main problem, or not problem, but my main question was about this fact that a real devotee, right? They are not interested in changing their destiny. I mean, they will to do so for the sake of devotional service, right? But other than that,
no, I'm saying, yes, there's two destinies. One is that what happens to you, which is fixed, what will happen to you, which you can change. So we don't care about the destiny that has come to us. That's kind of like fixed in one sense.
Which we're already experiencing, you mean?
Which we're already experiencing. Mm-hmm. For example, someone may get terminal cancer, and then there's nothing they can do about it. They're finished. But so they're not so concerned then of changing it. But in the future, in a next life or something, by their devotion, they can have another situation. That's the thing we should fear most in this world, which people don't get it, is Vaishnava aparad, because devotion is so simple. The only thing that stops our devotion is the offenses we commit. So that's where our focus should be. Okay, Gail.
Yeah, but I was thinking about a person, for example, because this is a very, I think a very that could really clear things up for me. Let's say a person is in a bad marriage, right? So it has, they're in that marriage, we can say, I guess, by Krishna's arrangement. And so would such a person still be considered surrendered if, for the sake of progressing in their devotional life, decided that this marriage, because there's too much contention, I need to give it up? Is that being surrendered or not? Would a devotee just say, okay, this is Krishna?
Well, generally we have dharma, we have duties, and when we do our duties, our consciousness evolves, and when we don't, it degrades. But that being said, the highest principle is not varnashram dharma. The highest principle is bhakti. So savai pumso paro dharma. Whatever brings us closer to Krishna is the best. So generally we try that's the overriding principle. I'll give you an example. There's one of my friends. He was running Mayapur Gurukul, and the management there was very difficult, and he went to Sridhar Maharaj. and asked them what to do. And Sridhar Maharaj said, oh, you must follow. Swamiji said, follow. You must follow. You must cooperate, but don't starve. So it's, but I would guess, yeah, in one sense, I think both considerations would be there. How do I deal with what's happening with me? And how do I create a better future? But I understand your point, because what's happening to us, to create a better future, sometimes we have to change it. But we're not concerned with changing things just in terms of our material pleasure. We're only in terms of changing things in terms of how much it brings us closer to Krishna. So I guess that's the distinction.
Yes.
Yeah, where most people just, I'm uncomfortable with this, let me change it. No, change it if it's connected to evolving in Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Okay, Gail?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, Tota Gopinath here.
Haribo, Tota.
Hare Krishna. Good to hear from you.
You going to work Saturday, or you're going to come in?
As far as I know, I'm coming into the city. I'm looking forward to it.
Let's see. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, it's all Govinda. Thank you for class.
I saw your better half yesterday.
Oh, God. How was she?
What?
How was she?
As blissful and cool as ever.
Okay.
The way she always is, smiling and happy and undisturbed. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Anybody? I'll let you know. I'm not sure if I'm going to come in Friday. I'll let you know tomorrow.
Okay,
But
no
if
problem.
I don't, then yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll let you know. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Surya Radhika here.
Hey, Haribo. Haribo.
Hey.
Yes, nice to see both of you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you very much for the class.
I love that you are always on my classes, both. Great.
Thank you.
It means
This
to
is
be a
our
disciple.
pleasure.
You're okay. Anybody else?
Good morning, Dhanardhara Swami.
Krishna.
Okay.
This is Min.
Oh,
Five
Min.
maybe in Washington Square Park. Thank you so much for class.
Nice to see you. I can't hear you so well. It may be my internet.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me okay now?
Not so good.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll ask you a question. You can hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Will you be at Rath Yatra?
I don't know.
Please say hello if you come to Rath Yatra, okay?
Okay, I will. Thank you.
What?
I don't know what that is.
If you see me, Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming. Oh, Rath Yatra? There's a festival down Fifth Avenue. Do you know about that?
No.
The Hare Krishna parade is on Saturday. It starts at 11 o'clock. It goes from Fifth Avenue and 43rd Street down Fifth Avenue. And then at 1 o'clock, it arrives in Washington Square Park, where there's a festival of India. It's the biggest Hare Krishna festival of the year.
Okay, I'll try to get there and see you.
Look up, I can't hear you. You look up like New York City, look up ISKCON, Brooklyn or something, and you'll get the information, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So nice to see that you hear the classes. Good. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hey, Shana, Hare Krishna. Good. Yeah, my connection's not so good, so I don't hear people. But anytime you have a question, please write me, okay? Okay, good. Thank you so much. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Kaylee.
Okay, I can't hear you so well, but Lal Govinda put the link on for the Rath Yatra. Okay, anybody else? Okay, okay. Well, Min, if you're there, the link to that Rath Yatra festival is there. Okay, I'll be going now. Vanshakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bheva Cha Patitanam.